And welcome back. As you can see, KTN channel 62 meeting KTN News. And we have Fayyaz Qureishi, who did a brilliant job with the news. It's like you actually never left. How did you enjoy it?
It was fantastic.
Yeah?
It was so amazing. It felt so good.
So
it actually
good.
got my adrenaline going. And you were there to hold my hand as well, isn't it?
Oh,
In case I
yes.
felt a little bit nervous.
Oh, yes. I was there, telling you, you can do it. But you did it so well.
It was so good, and it felt so good to be back. KTN's home for me.
KTN is home. I like that. So the question on everyone's mind right now is, where have you been? Where have you been? It's been 10 years.
It's been 10 years, yes. I migrated to the UK in 2005. That's when I left KTN.
Okay.
I was from 1990 till 2005, 15 years with KTN.
15 years with KTN,
Yes.
then you left.
Yeah.
10 years later, you're back.
Yeah, super
Back
short.
with a bang.
Back with a bang.
All right. So you went to the UK, you're doing business. What are you doing? Is it because of family?
I'm actually, well, our main reason actually to go to the UK was to give a more smoother transition to our kids in terms of university and everything, which worked out really well when I look back in 10 years. With God's grace, my kids have all gone through university and everything. They're highly qualified.
Yes.
It's only the youngest one, my son, who's left, who's in his last 2 years of international business. My daughters have done, one did maths, the other one did human geography. They've got very good jobs.
Wow.
So it was very good.
And one got married?
One got married last
year?
My eldest
You're
daughter.
very proud of
Yes,
her. You keep talking
my eldest
about
daughter,
her.
Marine, got married last year to a wonderful guy. My son-in-law, Asfer, is more like a son.
Okay.
More than anything.
Yes.
And that was about a year ago, and I couldn't believe I was a father-in-law. I felt scared.
Are you a good father-in-law?
Excellent.
You're an excellent father-in-law.
A lot of guys tell me, I wish we had a father-in-law like you. You're a pretty cool dude.
Are you a grandfather already?
No, not as yet. That's going to make me feel really old.
Really old. But the thing is, someone is asking, what's the secret? Because you haven't changed. The same Fayyaz we saw 10 years ago in 2005 is the same one seated, in front of me.
The mustache is gone.
The mustache is gone, I can tell, But I mean, everything else is the same. What do you eat, right? Do you jog? What do you do?
I think I have to thank the Almighty.
All right.
It's thanks to His grace that all we want is a good, healthy life, and somehow, yes, I do spoil myself at times. Eat the wrong stuff, then suddenly
Don't we all?
get that guilt bang in me, and then I quickly rush into the gym.
Yeah.
So I kind of somehow balance things.
All right.
But I look after myself
You
on
look
and off.
after you. Okay. So when you're walking into the studio, our beautiful studio, what do I say?
Absolutely fabulous.
You were like, this is not what we had at Nyayo House.
Yeah,
so let's talk about Nyayo House.
We have this fabulous studio when we were there in 1990.
What did you have back then?
Oh God, we had a single camera, Nyayo House,
20
floors, 20th floor.
Yeah.
You go in, had a small studio. But with the limited resources we had, I thought we did a fantastic job.
You did a fantastic job. Yes,
I think we set standards. Everybody was so dedicated.
Catherine Kasavuli, Njoroge Mwaura, Kathleen Upenda.
Yeah, the whole combination was so good. Just as you said, Catherine Kasavuli, Njoroge Mwaura,
Yes.
there was Joseph Warungu, there's Kathleen Upenda.
Yes.
The list was endless.
It was a great team that had the foundation for this great station.
Yes.
All right. So, what are the fond memories that you have from Nyayo House, from this KTN channel 62 coming onto your channel, your choice? Share with us.
Of course, when I joined KTN, it was like a dream come true.
Yes.
It was absolutely.
Did you always want to do it? To be a news
This passion was always there.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I used to actually read the news to my father, pretend I was a news anchor. So the dream was always there to be a news anchor.
Yes.
So when it happened, it was absolutely fabulous. It was a dream come true.
All right.
A lot of people have dreams, but how many of those dreams come true? I was lucky to actually have this dream come true.
Yes.
And started in 1990, and before I realized it was 15 years over.
Wow.
And had a fabulous career.
So
when I look back, it was beautiful.
It was beautiful. And you mentioned about the great team that you had. But apart from that, the other day we were talking, and you were telling me about this incident that you had at Nyayo House. Tell us about it. The day that you had to run. Before you answer that, let's take a look at the pictures there. Do you remember those days? Look at your hair. Oh, and that's your lovely...
That's my wife, yeah.
That's your lovely wife? Who are the...
That's with my son. That's my son. He's much taller than me, Salman, 6'2".
Is he taken? I'm kidding.
That's my wife again. And that's my 2 daughters, Marine Sharma, and my son Asfar, and my son Salman.
Okay.
Yeah.
And those are your...
And that's my daughters with the mother.
All right, and the mother.
That's the daughters and the mother again. Yeah.
Wow, and that's...
That's on the wedding of my daughter with her husband, Asfar.
Beautiful. And tell us a bit about that.
Well, that's when I used to really rock and shake a leg.
Can you imagine that? And I'm going to challenge you to actually do a little bit of... He does Elvis Presley so well. Yeah. Do you mind doing it? Sing for us something.
Okay.
Let's do something. Yeah. Do you want to stand? I know you like to stand and have some moves.
Well, the kind of song I'm going to do, I might have to stand.
Yeah, sure. Let's go.
Are you ready to rock with me?
Yeah, let's rock with me. I'll rock with you.
Okay. All right, this is quite risky. I'm going to actually do it without music. It's one of my favorites. It's called Blue Suede Shoes.
Okay.
Tonight I'm wearing black.
I'm wearing nude.
Okay.
Yes.
So you're going to shake with me?
All right, how do we shake? There are different shakes.
You're going to sway a little bit.
Okay, like that?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Okay, let's go.
Well, it's a 1 for the money, a 2 for the show, a 3, get ready now, go, cat, go, but don't you step on my blue suede shoes. Well, you can do anything, but don't you over my blue suede shoes. Well, you can burn my house, steal my car, or drink my liquor from an old fruit jar. Do anything that you want to do, but I lay off them shoes and don't you step on my blue suede shoes. Well, you can do anything, but don't you step on my blue suede shoes.
I will not step on your black leather shoes. That was good. That was good. I like that.
Thank you.
So do you do it anymore? Do you sing anymore?
Oh, once a while. Once a while, but
right.
it was a hobby.
Okay.
I enjoyed it. I still do it once in a while when somebody requests.
Yes.
Yeah, it's something that I enjoyed.
Oh, okay.
And I always thought I was a very good Elvis impersonator.
I think you can sing
I
pretty
had pretty
well.
good gigs in those days, first in Magnetica with the Pressman Band and the Galileo with the Flames. It all happened
You used
so
to perform
fast.
at Galileo.
Galileo and
right.
the old Galileo, which was next to International Casino.
Yes.
And then Forest and Magnetica. Started off with the Flames, and then the Pressman Band were with me for a long time.
Yes, yes.
And that was a good old days.
All right.
And I used to enjoy what I did. And it all kind of happened together.
Yeah.
When I started my KTN career, and the singing came along as well.
The singing came along, and something also came along. The show, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Yes.
That also came at that time. Tell us about that. How was that for you?
It was an amazing experience.
Okay.
First of all, it was this very famous international show.
Yes.
And it was like a dream bringing it to Kenya.
Yes.
And we were honored as being the 100th country to launch Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Actually, we have the video. We'll be taking a look at that in a short while. But
but such amazing standards were set. I think we were light years ahead. When the show first came into Kenya. Production values were absolutely unbelievable.
Okay.
It was a tough show.
All right.
We actually brought the set in from India.
Wow.
We had 21 people to come and assemble it.
Wow.
And but I think our local boys did a brilliant job.
Yes.
It was absolutely brilliant. And I think it was one of the highest watched programs on KTN.
I remember it. I remember it vividly.
And it was tough. I mean, I used to sit at that point from morning till evening.
Okay.
And trying to look fresh because we would record the shows. So you do one show, and you try and look fresh for the next show. It was quite a task. But it was
tough.
there, and my wife was absolutely fantastic. She helped me quite a bit, Syra, during the whole
That's a great
show.
companion, yeah?
Yes. So it was a tough one, but I enjoyed it. It was something brilliant.
You enjoyed it.
We went to London for training. Chris Tarrant actually trained us, and gave us tips about how to go about the show.
Did that include, how to ask the questions? There's always so much tension, when you watch that show.
There's so much drama, especially the music.
Yes.
And then you suddenly go, is that your final answer?
Yes.
And he goes, and then you're waiting. If you'd answered B, what's the right answer? And he goes, oh.
So you had to train for that.
Yes, I mean,
yes.
Get a feel of it, and then slowly got into the role.
All right.
So it was a lot of fun.
All right.
I was the host and the producer of the show.
And the producer of the show. Brilliant. And, shortly we'll be talking about the memories. Do you remember that incident about you running up the stairs? We have to talk about that. But for now, I want us to just take one more story. I know you understand this, the kind of interruptions that we're going to have right now.
Right.
But I want you to take you to Nakuru County, where there was A huge sigh of relief as health workers agreed to return to work after 4 days of paralyzing strike. Nurses signed a deal with the county government, but doctors are still on strike. Kamcha Menza has been following that story.
Nurses Union and the county government say they have struck a deal as the strike entered its 5th day. Their main grievance being delayed promotions and missing arrears and allowances.
Issue of arrears of all employees who have been promoted on various dates shall be effected in the month of September 2015 for ESPs and Public Service Commission list.
The return to work formula includes the promotion for 1,700 applicants to be implemented in 5 phases from September this year to January 2016.
January 2016 payroll, of which effective date for all will be 1st July 2015.
Based on that agreement, the strike that began on Monday, for nurses and other health workers, apart from the doctors, I wish to announce that that strike has been officially called off.
But the Nakuru doctors are still on strike.
The issues affecting the nurses and the doctors were almost the same. All of us wanted promotions, but we disagreed on some clauses, like the time for effecting promotions. They are saying that promotions will be effected as of 1st of September, yet the PSC guidelines clearly state the promotions should be effected as soon as the officer qualified for the promotion. And that's why we disagreed, and we cannot sign such an agreement.
Doctors who've been leaving due to these discrepancies, I can tell you for sure that the county government in the provincial hospital alone, we have lost over 10 doctors in the past under 6 months. And at this moment, morale is at an all-time low. So basically that is it. And we as doctors of Nakuru have decided that the deal is not good enough.
Nakuru Deputy Governor Joseph Ruto urged the doctors to consider their decision and agree to engage in more negotiations.
Because the only demand that is making us not agree is they want us to backdate the promotion way back even to 2011 when they were not our employees. But otherwise we have given in on to everything.
Many patients found themselves stranded at the public hospitals. Others opted to transfer their sick relatives. Those in the wards, especially accident victims, stayed unattended, while some could not leave the wards due to uncleared bills, as they too stayed unattended. 12 people reportedly died in the course of the strike, though officials remained mum on the issue. The nurses and health workers, such as nutritionists, clinical officers, were meant to report to work by 2 this afternoon, but by late this evening, the nurses were yet to report. Kamche Menza, KTN News, Nakuru County.
Now, the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission officers arrested 15 Nairobi County Council parking attendants. In a sting operation, the 15 were accused of soliciting bribes from Nairobians in different parts of the city.
It is a building that is not new in the eyes of Kenyans, having hosted the high and mighty on the land, all of them accused on separate occasions of having indulged in corruption.
How are you? How are you? I'm good. How are you?
But on this day, the EACC headquarters played host to a peculiar group of uniformed fellows. 15 Nairobi County Council parking attendants accused of soliciting for bribes from Nairobians in various parts of the city earlier today. It is alleged that the attendants had collected bribes amounting to over 128,000 shillings in just 30 minutes within Nairobi's industrial area, Westlands, Nairobi West, Ngara, and along Kirinyaga Road. Nairobi Governor Dr. Evans Kidero, who a few days ago was also a guest at the EACC headquarters, issued a statement congratulating the EACC officers for conducting the sting operation, adding that the 15 askaris have been suspended pending conclusion of their subsequent cases in court. But even as the askaris await their day in court, many will probably remember this equally dramatic sting operation by EACC officers, one which culminated in all the traffic cops being freed by a Nyeri court for lack of evidence linking them to corruption. Muremi Mwangi, KTN News, Nairobi.
Hello and welcome to another riveting and nail-biting edition of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, the game show that can change your life instantly, increasing your financial status significantly to the tune of 5 million shillings. All you need is the skill, ability and tact to answer 15 questions in a row, and you can walk away with 5 million shillings. We have 10 brand new contestants, all itching for a chance to get onto the hot seat. But before that, we have our rollover contestant, Charles Carter-Willis from last week, who's all set to go. Charles. So how are you feeling?
Good.
How was last week?
Oh, it's been long.
Lots of strategies, sitting down with your friends, family, quiz books.
Everyone with their own idea what to do.
And I'm sure you've got your own idea.
Yep.
And of course in the audience, your girlfriend Betty must have her ideas as well. That if you do win the 5 million shillings, it's all hers.
Nah, 50-50.
And that man, obviously, Fayyaz Qureishi, is sitting right next to me. Do you miss that show? I miss that show.
It was fantastic. It was really good. You never know.
How was the experience?
It was a fabulous experience.
Yeah, because
it was a very challenging show.
Yeah.
And when we did it in 2002, it was a milestone for Kenya, I think.
All right, all right.
And for KTN as such.
Okay.
So its production standards, are, like I said, were a very high level.
Yes, yes.
And it was a lot of fun. Our Kenyan contestants were brilliant.
Yeah.
Charles Carter-Willis was brilliant, I remember. It was, it was so funny, he was so good. Very witty, good humor.
Yeah.
And I think he won a bit of money as well.
That's lovely. So, you know, you have to talk about this experience that you had. You know, just telling the viewers sometimes how this job can be challenging. Tell us about that very tricky situation that you found yourself in at Nyayo House.
Oh, when...
yes.
Right, anyway, I was supposed to do the 9 o'clock news, and at that time, I think the news editor was Oliver Litondo. And got there at about, I think, 8 o'clock. And suddenly, there was no power. The lifts weren't working. So I apparently called Oliver and said, a tight spot here. There's no power. The lifts aren't working. The generators don't seem to be working. And what do I do? He says, well, climb the 20 flights of flight of stairs.
20?
Climb 20 floors, as simple as that.
So you went home?
And of course not. He says, well, there's a news bulletin that's got to be read, and you're the one who's going to read it. You can imagine, in that suit, tie, I chugged up, climbed 20 flights of stairs.
20 flights?
Of stairs.
Wow.
And by the time I got to the 20th floor, sweating profusely. Should have seen my state.
Yes.
Walked in, you know.
You're sweating
washed my face and everything.
puffing.
And I think when I read that bulletin, God, I must have been out of breath.
I can imagine that. But looking at where you have come from and, you know, coming here today and seeing, you know, the kind of, changes that we have in terms of technology, what's your comment on that? You know, are we progressing from your point of view?
Especially coming to this. The studios. This is my first visit to your new studios.
Yeah.
I think it's a fantastic setup. The lights are fantastic. We used to have those really hot lights.
Yes,
these are nice, cool lights. It doesn't make us sweat that much. But of course, there's been leaps of progress, I would say.
All right.
We had a magic combination then, and I'm glad to say that you guys have really maintained the standards.
Thank you.
And it's good to see great anchors like you.
Wow, thank you.
Your fellow anchors on KTN.
Yes.
And in terms of technology, I think you're right up there with the rest of the world.
Yes.
And that's always been a matter of honor for us.
Wow.
And at KTN, despite our limited resources during those times, we tried our best.
You tried it. That's true.
And we improved as time went on, which was pretty good. From Nyayo House, we went to INM.
Yes.
But before I could come here, I left.
You left. So you're here
I
today.
never was a big step forward anyway.
All right.
Yeah.
So you know, your family, we saw them. Maybe, you can tell us more about how were you able to balance between family and this crazy job that we have?
Yeah, it was amazing. Family is so important. They care for you. They're your support structure. My mother, my late mother, may the Almighty bless her soul, was my biggest fan.
Wow.
I don't think she ever missed a single bulletin.
Wow, just
Never.
like my mom.
Yeah, never missed a single bulletin.
Yeah.
She'd be there, recorded every bulletin of mine,
Yes.
and it was a matter of pride for her that she saw her
Great.
son there.
Yeah.
It was very sad when she passed away in 2004. She was a great inspiration, great dedication. All my family, my brothers, my sisters, we're all of my brothers, Fauz, Farouk, and all our sisters.
Yes.
Unfortunately, my elder sister passed away. She was a real gem, Farkhanda.
Right.
She unfortunately passed away in 2000. But they were all a great support structure. And when I do a bulletin, when I go back home, I would get a real blasting.
Wait.
One brother would start calling and say, "How did you pronounce that word?
How did you pronounce
How do
that word? I get that
There
a
were
lot
those,
sometimes.
Like real,
Yes.
Ascaris. And then my
But it's
wife
positive
was
criticism.
very supportive right through. She would make sure my wardrobe, and then have all these arguments and say, "I'm going to wear this tie." She said, "No, you're not going to wear this tie. You're going to wear this suit."
That sounds familiar.
50%. She'd win and 50% because I was very particular.
Yes,
Before a news bulletin, I'd pull all my clothes out, put them on the bed, and then
and then
they
I'll
would
start
sit,
selecting.
and then my kids were so young that would sit and watch with dedication.
All right.
That their father's going to be there. Marine, Shama and Salman.
Yes.
And my son Salman still pretends to be the anchor for Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Gathers all his sisters and relatives, and he's Fayyaz Qureishi.
So he could be the Fayyaz Qureishi in the next few years.
Yes, so my whole family has been a great support structure for me, and I couldn't have done it without them.
Wow.
And of course, most importantly, your fans.
The fans, yes, you're very passionate about
Oh,
that.
they were brilliant.
Yeah.
Kenyans were brilliant.
They are brilliant, up and even today. They are
of course,
brilliant.
they're fantastic.
Yes.
And how it all happened, and after a spell of 24 years, the first Asian face coming on KTN.
Yes.
And how the Kenyans perceived me was absolutely
They embraced
brilliant.
you.
They were
wow,
so good.
Great.
So good.
All right, so a lot to talk about. I wish we had 3 hours, 4 hours.